Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Arsenal. My most regular viewers must be wondering why I'm speaking in English for a change. That's because I was challenged by Pedro Conceição from the channel RetroGameForce to be a part of this chain where we talk about our top 3 PlayStation 2 games. He talks in English in all his videos. I've been wondering for a while whether I should try or not to do English spoken videos to see if I can reach a larger audience or something like that. I thought this might be a good opportunity to try and do that for once at least. We all know the PlayStation brand is one of the most successful console brands ever, breaking records around the world. And the PlayStation 2 is one of my favorite systems. For starters, is a console that's really cheap to collect for. Most games prices range from $2 to like $10, either euros or dollars. The more collectible games go around for like $20, $30, euros or something, and only some few exceptions reach the 100, 200, and $300 or euros. So it's a console that if you haven't played back then and you feel like starting collecting for it, if there's a bunch of games you want to get from your childhood, it's a really great time to start doing so, and it's probably one of the wisest choices if you are trying to collect on the safe side when it comes to your wallet. It's a console that went to at least 2 iterations, 2 versions. First, the PS2 FAT, the normal one, the first edition. That's a really large console that it even had a slot for a hard drive. Later on, it was online enabled. Today you can find most versions for really cheap. I've got a PS2 Slim. It's my to-go console. It's always plugged in. And as you know, back then we weren't still talking about the HD. Most consoles had these cables. These were the audio jacks, the left and right channel, and this was the video input. Well, you're not forced to do this anymore. There have been component cables for a while now. With component cables, the games output larger resolutions and look a lot more crispier and nice, even on some HD televisions nowadays. And there are even some adapters where you can plug an HDMI cable, and they do some sort of upscaling. You should probably opt for those options, either a component cable or one of those HDMI adapters. Back then, the consoles didn't come with a standard hard drive, so you had to buy these memory cards, and it was really easy to fill them up with game saves. And you can find most of them with a generic version also on outlets like AliExpress or eBay. Another amazing thing about this console was that you could play PlayStation 1 games with some graphical enhancements, but if you want to save the games, you have to plug an original PlayStation 1 memory card. PlayStation 2 kept the design from the original DualShock intact. This is probably one of the brands in which the controllers have evolved the least. The PlayStation 4 controller is probably the controller that suffered a bit more changes with its touchpad and speaker, and also motion sensor with the move sensor incorporated. But even so, the design is mostly a slight iteration on the original PlayStation DualShock controller. There are also a lot of official controllers with different designs. I love the transparent colors of controllers, and I've got a couple of them. The original DualShock is also playable on the PlayStation 2, and you can use PlayStation 2 controllers on your PlayStation 1 as well. And now that we've gone through a bit of the history of the console, I'm going to talk about the games. And just like Pedro Conceição did in his top 3 video, I'm not going to cover the well-known games like Jak and Daxter or Gran Turismo, you know, those games. I'm going to go for a more like hidden gems or underrated games, or just games that mean something to me. I'm going to start this game I love a lot, Ridge Racer 5. It was one of the launch games for the system, and it was just a slight evolution from the Ridge Racer Type 4 formula. Amazing new graphics that really showed what this new system was capable of. It's a game that still looks pretty good nowadays, with an awesome techno soundtrack, and it's a really awesome arcade game. If you like any of the Ridge Racer games, this is a game that you can find for really cheap, and I think it's still worth it and a must on any PlayStation 2 collector's collection. Another game that I don't feel it has the right amount of praise is Virtua Fighter 4 evolution. The Virtua Fighter series was known for kind of being in the forefront of the 3D movement. The first title was one of the first, if not the first, real true 3D fighting game. Even the Tekken series kind of spun off from it with some producers that worked on Virtua Fighter, but it was always an arcade title. As you know, fighting games are not known for their amount of depth when it comes to single player content, and so it's a sort of game that if you don't have friends to play a lot with, you will be left with a kind of shallow experience. But this game kind of changed all that with a roster of 15 really different characters. Each had its own play style that really had to be mastered so you could play well. And it's the sort of game that where the characters don't have like throwing balls or lightning or fire from their hands like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. So it's a really more grounded kind of combat with only 3 buttons: defense, punching and kicking, and then everything else comes from a combination of those buttons. What I really like about this game, the quest mode where you go around Japan fighting other players on arcades. These AIs are based upon real people that Sega gathered their playing styles and character appearance from actual arcades that had a card system where players could save their progress and earn customizable objects for their characters. And that's another thing that adds depth in this game. You can earn haircuts, t-shirts, collars, bandanas, gloves, a lot of things that change the way your character looks, so you can make your own version of your favorite character. And I think it was one of the first fighting games to have that sort of thing that nowadays a lot of games have. And so I played a lot of hours of this game, and I think it still looks amazing, plays really well, and I can still get myself lost playing the quest mode in Virtua Fighter 4. And to finish, a well-beloved game, Klonoa 2, and this game is beloved for a very good reason. The first game is amazing. It was not groundbreaking, but is a 2D platformer that does what it does really well in an era where every game has shifted to a 3D perspective and a 3D gameplay. This game kept the charm of the 3D graphics with a side-scroller gameplay that sometimes had depth on the background, and where you had like 2 layers you could get across, and just with a fun gameplay and really spot on jumping mechanics, collect emeralds, and it had a lot of variety in its scenery, in its backgrounds. It's a really charming game. People are looking for this game, and it kinda rose up in price lately, but if you can find it for a nice price, don't even think twice and go for it. Actually, if you have any chance of playing this game, the original disc or just through emulation or something, if you like platforming games, this is one of the best choices you can make, is playing this game. And that's it. I wanted this to be a short video, but I think there are 3 nice options. If you have PlayStation 2, I think you're gonna like these ones. I like variety with my games, so I think this is a nice choice of platforming, fighting games and racing games for you guys to try out. I want to thank once more Pedro Conceição for the shout out that made me a part of this chain. Now I want to send a shout out to my friend Marisa Almeida and ask if she wants to be a part of this challenge as well. Also to Pedro Barbadinho of the channel Cat Videojogos. He kinda started this whole thing, and he has a nice channel that I think you guys should check out. I'll leave the links to the channels in the description. If you are foreign and you liked this chance to understand what I'm saying for a change, please let me know so in the comments or any of our social network outlets. It would be really nice to hear from you guys. And that's all for today. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe please if you want to help. And anyway, see you guys on the next video, and until then, play a lot.